Welcome to 5RoundMMA. We have an action-packed show as we review UFC 163, and we also cover Bellator 97. Please welcome Alex Ramirez and Albert Cita.
Thank you very much. Our producer, Guillermo Cita. Albert, you all right?
I wouldn't say I'm all right. I'm just emotional right now. So I do ask for everybody to be sensitive to me because I will just go off.
The shenanigans on Saturday.
If you paid attention to me last podcast, I did say Phil Davis would win. And then there will be controversy. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Guillermo. I hardly pay attention, so I should have listened.
Shenanigans.
Anyways,
we'll save the shenanigans for a little later on. As for right now, latest news and headlines.
So we have Michael Bisping announcing that he will fight Mark Munoz in the UK.
Yeah, this bout was announced, but then UFC kind of denied it because there wasn't a venue or dates exactly set in stone for Manchester. I guess now all that's good, and I guess Munoz versus Bisping's gonna be a headliner.
I like it too.
Yeah.
First, I hope it's free.
Secondly,
second
if
of
that's
all,
the main event, it
second
should be
of
free.
all, I like it because Michael Bisping's on the rebound and Mark Munoz is on the rise, and we get to see them meet. And I really think Mark Munoz got this matchup both standing up and on the ground.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. It's a lot, I think, more intriguing than Luke Rockhold versus Tim Boetsch, which is going to take place this year too as well. So,
and I think it's more relevant for these two fighters, especially where they're at in their careers.
Yeah, especially Bisping's a perennial contender if he could just go with a hump, but. We'll see what happens.
So next we got Ray Seffel fighting this Saturday. He plans to retire regardless of whether he wins, loses, draws at World Series of Fighting 4.
Well, as the president of World Series of Fighting, I think you probably need to concentrate more on the business side.
On the actual, because I think people will now question where's his focus at?
Yeah.
Is it in fighting or is it in your promotion? So you can't do both. He probably wants to test the water just like anybody that just recently retired.
Get one more taste before he officially...
One last go
well,
at
he's
it.
the president, so he sees all these fights live.
Yeah, and you just get that bug in you, I guess,
That itch.
Yeah.
So next news, we have Rashad Evans turning down Vitor Belfort.
As if Vitor can't get a fight, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he can't get a fight. It's more that he is very picky. Either you have to have gold around your waist, or your name has to be Chael Sonnen.
Yeah,
and that's a hard application.
And it has to be in Brazil, and when he's not on his cycle.
Yeah,
but it's, Rashad Evans turned it down.
Yeah, Rashad Evans turned it down because he said that he fought a teammate before and it didn't work out so good, so he doesn't want to fight a teammate again.
I mean, I whenever I see Vitor Belfort talk about Florida, he's like just passing through, kind of. I guess he saw him in the parking lot. He equates him to teammates, I guess. I don't know.
It's because they walk their alligators together, so around the
in South Beach, also Wolverine bringing up the rear, too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I almost 100% agree. The way their training schedule is probably like, Rashad Evans gets from 9 to 11. Vitor gets from
11:30
from 12 to 11:30 to the 1:30, and then and they just cross paths, and that's how their transition is.
No more fighting teammates for Rashad.
Yeah. So last breaking news is Jake Shields versus Damian Maia announced.
That's gonna be a dangerous fight for Jake Shields.
I think it's a very dangerous fight for Jake Shields. I think it's a dumb fight for him to take, to tell you the truth. And I know he thinks he's one of the greatest jiu-jitsu guys, but that ain't nowhere near the caliber of Damian Maia's jiu-jitsu.
He says you will see his jiu-jitsu take part in this fight.
There's a reason why Damian Maia is a world champion. There's a reason why.
Yeah, you got guys who are known for jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
And they're constantly saying Damian Maia is the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in mixed martial arts. That's kind of saying something. It's not Cesar Gracie jiu-jitsu. It's like Damian Maia, ultra-level jiu-jitsu.
Remember they kept saying that Fitch had this amazing jiu-jitsu that was underrated. People just didn't know. And then when he fought Damian Maia.
Remember what Wanderlei said? He's all, I thought I was a black belt. After Damian Maia, I'm not a black belt. He's a black belt.
See?
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, so go ahead, Jake. Bring your Cesar Gracie jiu-jitsu and we'll see what's up.
Take him to the ground, I dare you.
Yeah, so that's it for breaking news. Really quick, we had a survey this week.
Last week's survey?
Yeah, whose poster would you want to have on the wall? Miesha Tate's or Ronda Rousey?
Who was the winner?
So the survey results was 63% for Miesha Tate.
Wow.
I think that's going to be the same result as the fight.
So
60%.
So do you think it was the pictures we put up, or it was? Do you really?
I think our survey technician, Big Game, had a lot to do with the influence, because I think one was more appealing to the eye than the other.
He did.
But then again, Miesha Tate was just showing her best assets. So
I'm pretty sure pun intended in that one, right?
So
but real quick before we leave, we are going to have surveys every week, and we are going to have a monthly winner. So
if you participate in the survey, we're going to do monthly giveaways, and that's how we're going to pick our winners from
we'll do a random person that actually
So
participated
go
in our
ahead
survey.
and follow us on Facebook to get those surveys, Instagram, and of
Twitter.
course FiveRoundMMA.com.
So our next week's survey, the winner will announce next week's show, and we'll have the Bruce Buffer book to give out.
Yep.
So stay tuned for our next survey question.
Got to hear it later on the show, guys. Got to stick around for the whole show to see what the survey is.
So that's it for breaking news.
All right, so stick around, guys. We'll have a Bellator 97 recap.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
Honey Badger pre-workout energy drinks gives you the energy you need to do the extra rep to get the extra set in. No shakes, no jitters, just pure energy. Find out for yourself at drinkhoneybadger.com. Drink fearless, fight fearless.
There was a rising star on display this week on Bellator 97.
Well, I'm going to get her dub this today Man Crush Monday because I think we're all pretty much man crushing on Michael Chandler, right?
Yeah, that is true. I think I took down my Misha Tate poster and I put up my Michael Chandler one.
Wow.
That's saying something.
I didn't do that, but
But I think
I do like Michael Chandler.
Bellator 97 was a good success, I think.
Yeah, and,
all
and
the
we
fights
said
are
it
great.
that if you were going to watch one Bellator card or a show, this
Yeah.
was the one to see.
well, it's any card that Michael
Basically,
Chandler's in.
as long as Michael Chandler, but this one had a little extras to it. But yeah,
I think it was good except for one minor smudge.
I had a problem. I had two problems.
it was like I was enjoying the park, and then a bee stung me at the end. You know,
That's a good
that's
analogy.
how
yeah.
that's how it felt like to me.
But
Nah.
before we get to that, the big
Two bees
surprise
stung me.
Bellator had. You guys want to talk about little King Mo?
Yeah.
Real quick, I would like to give a shout out to King Mo because obviously he listens to our podcast. Because I clearly said last week that King Mo should really mix it up again and show that his wrestling's still there, and he should wrestle more and not worry so much about the stand-up, and that's exactly what he did. You listen to me, you get wins, you move up on the ladder.
I think the fight lasted more than it should, though.
No,
Jacob Noe was a tough dude. He's still in there, but he took a beating. Yeah,
He
did
took a
take
beating, but
Yeah.
that should have ended in the first round.
Yeah.
That fight shouldn't have.
It could have ended in the first round.
Yeah,
better put. But King Mo's an interesting position now because they're saying that their light heavyweight champion may not be ready to fight in time to fight against Edward Newton. So we might get to see the rematch sooner than later as far as King Mo's only loss in Bellator.
and have that be like no more contender. No,
So it should get interesting.
seems like they're really bending over backwards for King Mo, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
they're getting rid of the whole tournament style just for this guy.
Yeah, and then just putting him in a little 4-man tournament.
When you pay that much money, you gotta show him as much as you can.
Yeah, well, he did come through, so maybe King Mo finally reaches potential in Bellator.
So next topic, we have Ben Askren winning in
Ooh,
dramatic
man.
or
He put
dominating
on a
fashion.
wrestling clinic. I took out my notepad and I was like, what? That's what, and that's what. And
Well, this is my first beast thing. Ben Askren is
Beast thing?
overrated.
Overrated.
Ben Askren is so overrated because the welterweight division in Bellator is so way below. Had Ben Askren fought anybody in the top 10 in the UFC, he would lose.
I
Guaranteed.
think he would have put on a wrestling clinic like he did that same day. I mean, it was like light years. I mean, at one point the guy just freaking stood up, waved at the fans. I think he signed some kid's autograph at the same time.
Yeah,
He has the best ground and pound in MMA.
But
right now, I
look,
think.
when you're
yeah,
fighting someone
right.
that doesn't even train wrestling,
Well,
Well, it's his fault.
It's
it's
the
his fault,
fighter's
but it
fault.
just tells you
But
the level of
fighter-
competition.
the fighter was undefeated. He was
A
very,
knockout
very,
artist.
very, very well spoken of.
Who did he beat to get to Ben Askren? Can you name the Russian?
No, but he had a bunch of knockouts.
You
He
just
was
watched the
11-0.
fight. Can you name the Russian that he
But
fought?
I'm just saying.
You
that
can name Ben
It
Askren.
wasn't
Who
like
did he
they
fight?
it wasn't like they got some bum in the street and then here.
Threw him in
Might
there,
as
yeah.
well. Might as well. It looked like
Oh,
it.
that guy.
No, that's Ben Askren making it look like that.
Oh my! So
Yeah,
you're,
it's
so you're
true.
telling me Ben
He made
Askren
he made
had,
him look like a bum.
if he fought Carlos Condit, Roy McDonald,
Well,
a
Carlos,
GSP.
Well, Carlos kind of one weakness is wrestling.
Yeah.
So if he could take him down, who knows what happened?
But you think
We've
Carlos
seen
Condit
with
can get
GSP,
up,
we've
though?
seen. I don't know. He didn't get up with GSP. I mean, he did get up a couple times, but I mean, like, I don't know. Carlos Condit's biggest weakness is on the ground. And
But I would say one thing. We can't say who we can find Bellator because Bellator still needs to stack up their roster.
and it's a tournament
But
format too.
Ben Askren, unlike Michael Chandler, has never talked about long term in Bellator, and he's always hinting at, I'll fight you GSP, I'll
Yeah.
fight you so and so from UFC. So I think he's just sharpening up the tools, but I think I think our questions will be answered sooner than later.
I really think Ben Askren is Jake Shields. What he did
Well,
in Strike
no,
Force.
no,
Wait,
no,
no,
let
don't
me finish.
even.
Let me finish my
Oh,
point.
man.
Let
Can
me
you
finish
hit
my
the-
when
do you have a sound
when
effects
Jake
here?
Shields got into the UFC, they threw him against GSP right away.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're the best in Strikeforce. Now we know you can beat GSP. They're gonna do the same thing with Ben Askren. He's gonna freaking get destroyed by GSP, get buried just like Jake
I don't know
Shields
about
did.
that.
That's my comparison.
They didn't do it with Hector Lombard. I don't
He
think they
is
do it with Ben
light
Askren.
years away from what
Where's
Jake
Hector
Shields
Lombard?
are.
Well, see, they didn't do it with him. So, but they weren't doing it with Ben Askren.
Yeah.
No, Ben Askren will lose 2 fights in a row in the UFC and get buried to
This
the
guy's
bottom.
so nasty. He's ground and pound. He's an Olympic wrestler.
Olympic
wrestler.
All right, we gotta put Ben Askren in the shelf. We'll talk about this later, but I think you're completely wrong here.
This is like a whole different, longer
Yeah.
debate. But I think Ben Askren, he's there. He owns the fact that he's a ground and pound wrestler.
End of the day, he had
He's proud of it.
he had an amazing performance. He showed why he's the champion. Ben Askren, kudos.
Well, let's move on to the second beast thing because I don't want to end on a bad note.
Okay.
Let's first start off with Tito Ortiz versus Rampage Jackson being announced for November 2nd.
Yeah, this was. I didn't know I was allergic to bees until I got this thing, but it was horrible. I mean, you had such a beautiful card. You were showing your talent, the talent that you grew, the talent that you developed, and then you go and almost like slap everybody in Bellator in the face by bringing out making a whole schmuck of bring out Rampage. People
Call out
think
your
that
opponent.
he thinks he's calling out Roy Jones Jr., but really he calls out Tito Ortiz.
Of all people, Tito Ortiz.
Both guys are coming off of losing records.
I think they're 0-6 in their last 6 spots combined.
They're past their prime. They shouldn't. You need to have these fights for the fans, but to go ahead and steal the highlight from these other fighters that you bred and developed is an insult.
It wasn't so
I
much
thought.
they stole the highlight; they made a mockery of the night.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, because like people were enjoying the card, and then like, did that really just happen? Ha ha ha! Look at Bellator falling into the same trap of Affliction. I think, right?
Yeah.
We're just throwing a bunch of guys who have
Exactly.
names, and we'll just throw them together.
That UFC doesn't want anymore.
Yeah, it's basically because like nobody was asking for this fight now. But think back when
they were in
Tito
the prime.
and Rampage had their prime at the same time, but nobody was asking for that fight even when they were in their prime. It was always let me see Rampage and Chuck. Let me see Chuck and Couture. It wasn't let me see Rampage and Tito back in their prime. If I don't want to see it 10 years ago, why do I want to see it now for?
Well, I did want to see it 10 years ago, but maybe
I think you and like some other guy did.
But I mean, it wasn't on the top priority to watch.
Which means it's not what it should happen.
Anyways, sour grapes, but
Okay, so you want to move on?
yeah.
Well, basically, we want to know what you guys think. We'll make this week's survey.
Yeah. So this week's survey, we're gonna bring it up towards the end, but
Big game, take note.
well, we'll bring it up right now, and then we'll talk about it at the very end. It's would you pay for the pay-per-view Tito Ortiz versus Rampage?
without knowing the rest of the card.
Yeah,
Without knowing the
right
rest of the
now,
card.
would you pay for it?
Yeah, you only know one fight, which is Rampage versus Tito Ortiz. Would you pay for it?
I wouldn't.
So, so we know his answer. So 100% no.
Mine's 100%
So
no.
yeah,
But I think this pay-per-view has to have Michael Chandler, has to have Pat Curran, has to have Ben Askren. Either, if not one, both of the Pitbull brothers, King Mo on it. You have to highlight
People that you developed.
You have to have that. It can't be Tito and Rampage and like the featherweight tournament or the light heavyweight tournament. It has to be. You have to have your stars shining. I mean, okay, you might want to say, okay, Tito Rampage will bring the guys in, but Michael Chandler will make them stay. You can't have. It has to be that way. If that's their thought, then okay, I'll get behind this idea. But if it's just gonna be Rampage and Tito and like a Spike TV card, then no, it's gonna be a horrible idea. But I'm hopefully Bellator and hopefully Bjorn Ribney is smarter than that. So
yeah.
we'll see.
So let's end Bellator 97 on good terms.
The man.
We have Michael Chandler
I
defeating
said
Dave
they need to replace
Caveman
that
Rickles.
Bellator face and put Michael Chandler's face on it because this guy is the.
He destroyed Caveman.
I mean,
Yeah. What was it, like 20 seconds?
dude,
44 seconds.
It wasn't even a fight, and it was a monster. I mean, Michael Chandler. It's funny. He had a small amount of time to showcase himself, but yet he was so impressive in that short amount of time that he showed he's still evolving as a fighter.
Yeah.
And if someone were to come and ask me and said like, "Oh, let's see if Bellator or UFC are better," you can only pick one fighter to go up against UFC. I'll pick Michael Chandler.
Yeah. That's totally completely different from Ben Askren, in my opinion.
Really?
Michael Chandler would be the UFC champion. There's a high possibility he can beat Benson Henderson.
Wow.
He could beat Jose Aldo.
You
Yeah.
think so? I mean, because
Possibility.
his frame is small enough where he could go back
Yeah.
and forth, like, kind of like a Frankie Edgar, a little bit bigger than Frankie Edgar, where he could drop down to 145 and come up to 155 and still be dominant, I think.
But since he signed a long-term contract with Bellator, Benson Henderson, go to Bellator.
I don't know about that. It's a big payday. You could probably get a big payday in Bellator.
Yeah. But it was an awesome card. Top
Alliance
to bottom.
MMA is coming up, man.
Yeah,
I
Alliance
mean,
MMA is getting big.
Phil Davis did win yesterday.
Like I said, it was a nice picnic. Just sucked that there's some bees around and we got stung. But overall, I think it was a solid card. I think Bellator is starting to develop into its own, and hopefully they concentrate more on the talent that they developed rather than limp their way.
Because you got a good mix of these guys from America. They're obviously developing the Eastern European, Russian guys great, so it's gonna be a good mix, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the proof was in the pudding.
Yep.
There you go.
And the pudding was good.
All right, guys, so stick around. We'll have a review of UFC 163. Should be good. Stick around. This edition of 5 Round MMA is brought to you by Rosal Records, bringing you the best in music and audio engineering. Make sure to check out rosalrecords.com. This edition of 5 Round MMA is brought to you by Top Rated MMA, 100% American-made MMA apparel, topratedmma.com.
We had controversy in Brazil as Machida and Phil Davis fought, and we had Korean Zombie and Jose Aldo. Now it's time to review UFC 163.
Well, I think the two biggest stories were a Brazilian getting the old screw job by the judges,
I
and
thought I was
Korean
watching
Zombie.
the whole Montreal screw job all over again.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, not another Bret Hart, please. But
and Korean Zombie literally falling apart in the middle of the match.
literally falling apart.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just wanted to bring up two key fights. One was Ian McCall.
First win in the UFC.
First win in the UFC, and I mean, it wasn't his best performance, but he
just needed to win.
Yeah,
he needed to
win
under his belt. Now he's probably relaxed now.
And like I said, I mean, I think he showed too, like what we said earlier, that maybe these flyweights are just way ahead of everybody else.
Well, the top four being
Yeah.
Ian
Mighty
McCall.
Mouse,
that was a crucial matchup, I thought. And then the other one was Cesar Ferreira, Vitor Belfort's boy.
Yeah.
If you remember him in the Toughen Up Brazil. He had another impressive win. And, man, he's looking just as jacked as Vitor Belfort. So
minus the TRT too, so it's super dangerous.
I don't know. They might have the same doctor. They might have the same doctor since they kick it. But he was very impressive.
Since they walk alligators together.
He's the one guy to keep an eye out for in the next bout. But other than that, we should go straight to the co-main event.
So, yeah, the co-main event was Phil Davis versus Lyoto the Dragon Machida. Phil Davis winning unanimously. Yeah.
You can argue a split, but
disgusting. Yeah, you can't even argue a split.
Well, I'm trying to be different here.
You're gonna make him cry.
I know, dude. Okay,
okay?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you
we gotta
the
be sensitive.
way I saw it, and then I'm gonna tell you
before we get into
facts
that, one of the main complaints was the rules. We'll start off with the rules.
It's true. Well,
What's what Machida said? Explain to me the rules and I'll fight that way, right?
It's true. What are the rules? I mean, Machida said it best. He's all, well, I don't understand what's the UFC rules then, because I try to go by that, and I still
not UFC rules, MMA rules.
MMA rules. But it's true, because what are they? I mean, do you feel like the fighter's winning if he's trying to take him down, but you don't give credit to the guy that's defending the takedown?
And you would think judges in Brazil would have
a more of a
bias,
or at least a better knowledge of how to judge fights, because you think Brazil, you think of fighting.
In the first round, I mean, Phil Davis got a late takedown with like 18 seconds left, 20 seconds left, didn't do much with it. Shouldn't that be the equivalent to if I pin you against the cage and do nothing with it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Fight Metrics had it, which keeps the stats.
Overwhelmingly for
it had a unanimous decision
30-27.
to Lyoto the Dragon Machida. It had 10 takedown attempts for Phil Davis, only 2 completed, so that's 20%.
And that's a computer, guys. This is a non-biased machine. So there you go. And I mean,
this machine is not very critical of Machida.
Dana
White.
Not that I want to make too much headlines on this or whatever, but even Dana White said that he thought Machida won all 3 rounds.
But don't leave it to the
hands of the judges.
Well, he put it on Twitter, so you didn't see the wink.
Yeah, you see the little wink there.
So now, how did you see the fight?
The way I saw it was Machida won the first. Phil Davis got that late takedown with 20 seconds, which makes no sense why he would win that one. The second round, I would say it's the closest, but I think this is like the illusion fighters get. Like, Machida lands a couple of nice strikes, but you're like, oh, it was only like 3 or 4 punches, whatever. I'm still in it, but little do you know, you haven't done nothing in the fight yet. So I don't see how they could give the second round to Phil Davis, but that's the only one that you could probably give it to him. And then the third round
was all Machida, wasn't it?
Yeah, Machida was there striking. He even got more aggressive.
He was pushing forward.
He was pushing forward, and he was laying out a barrage of punches at certain times and showing that he was the aggressor in the third round, which is surprising that all the judges had him winning the third round except for one. the guy that had Machida winning only in the first round, which made completely see what I mean. Even the judges don't make sense of the way they've been scoring.
It's like Machida's just so far ahead of his time.
Yeah.
That people can't comprehend his style. And
But I'm gonna tell you one thing: if the Legend of the Dragons are true, because I do know my dragon mythology.
Is it Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Mythology?
No, this is dragon mythology.
Okay.
They are very. They want gold. Dragons are known to go get gold, keep it in their caves and stuff like that, right? Well, Machida got his gold stolen. He tried to get it back, the clever way, the sneaky way, but it's obviously not working. So I think the dragon is just going to go into rage now, and he's going to burn cities. He's going to burn downtowns. He's going to engulf everybody in fire to get his gold back.
At 205 or 185?
I think he's still going to stay in 205 because I think now the dragon's mad, and I don't think you're going to see the counterpuncher Machida no more. I think he knows that he only has maybe 3 or 4 fights in him because of his age, and I think you're going to see the most aggressive Machida you have ever seen. Quote me on that on the next fight.
We'll see when I guess when he's emotionally ready to get back in the cage, right? It might be a quick turnaround. He didn't sustain any damage at all.
Yeah, I know. You should see his face. He can fight next week. He can fight. He can fight today at 5 o'clock.
They might even put him on the December card, maybe.
Yeah.
If he finds a light heavyweight once it's get in the cage with him.
I think he gets buried though, not in the main card.
You think a rematch? Maybe will Phil Davis be up for that?
Well, I hope so.
I think if UFC smart, there's 2 options. And I'm not saying that it's because I want to see. I'm saying I think these makes more sense. One is the rematch, and 2 is to give him Rashad Evans, because Rashad Evans is open, and I know Rashad Evans only has a couple losses, and it only takes a win from his previous loss to rebound.
Get back in
yeah.
But, I mean, congratulations to Phil Davis, but I don't know if he's really proud of that win.
I don't think he should be proud.
More relieved of it.
Yeah,
I got through it.
I can't be mad at Phil Davis. I mean, I don't think anybody would take a win over Machida because they do not want to fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the MMA rules cater towards a wrestler?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know what the MMA rules are, man. It's
all you gotta do is hug him and bring him down and just hold him there, and you pretty much won the fight.
Yeah.
So,
which is not what Ben Askren does, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So let's move on to the next fight. We have Jose Aldo versus the Korean Zombie. Were you impressed by this? First of all, Jose Aldo, and
I think
the
Zombie
guts.
just keeps increasing his stock by finding the way he fights. It's crazy because you can see like his transformation into the Zombie during the fight.
Yeah.
Because first he tried to make it technical, but Jose Aldo was just too much for him, and out of nowhere, like he just starts transforming into the Zombie, and then we had a fight. I mean, they were going at it until unfortunately he hit the back of Jose Aldo's head and dislocated his shoulder.
So speaking of like MMA rules, so why is this a stop fight for a eye poke or a kick groin, but my shoulder is dangling from my arm? I won't get like 5 minutes to pop it back into place.
That's a good point.
How is that? What are the rules here? I mean, like, is that not
again? We have there's something that seriously. I think they need to have some kind of judging committee and like meet once a year and like really talk about it, because that's a good point. I mean, technically, if they would have popped it back, maybe could have continued. Yeah. Should have even been left to continue because that's a serious injury.
Yeah, you think?
And then he suffers a knockout.
Yeah.
So you think they should have stopped the fight? Let's say if that's
well, they do it for the eye poke. Why not do it for the guy's arm is dangling? Do it.
I think they should have taken a break and had the doctor assess it.
Yeah.
And then tell him like, I can pop it back and he'll be fine, or say no, we need to stop this right now.
Because like you get kicked in the groin, you get all the time you need, right? I mean, like
you get 5 minutes. I
think it's either all the time you need or like 5 minutes. It switches every time. Yeah. But I mean, like, why not just go in there and like. You can recover quickly from a separated shoulder. Now the guy got knocked out, concussion probably. So he's saying more damage when it could have been stopped earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a horrible night for the commission, the judging, the refereeing.
Korean Zombie was trying to pop it back. He at least tried 3 times to pop it back. So, I mean, dang, he really is a zombie. He was trying to reattach his arm back on and keep fighting. So, that's what I say. I think his stock just grows as a reputation of being just, a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Brazilian Commission or Rio Athletic Commission.
They need to really clean up their act here.
So now Jose Aldo, let's put the focus on him. He retains as champion.
What's
next for him?
Report
is that he injured his foot.
Oh yeah,
or his leg.
Matters, but
I think he finally makes his move to 155. Yeah. I really do think that, because there really isn't nobody else to fight 145. Because I mean, even Anthony Pettis, I mean that's gone.
Yeah.
So I think his only move is to go to 155.
Frankie Edgar was on SportsCenter last night, and he called out. He called he wants Jose Aldo again.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, because
he said it was close the first time.
He survived.
Yeah.
He didn't. I mean, it wasn't even. He survived. That's it.
So
I think we see him move up to 155.
So do you think like he's gonna get like a okay? So like pretty much with his injury, he'll coincide with the ending of Benson Henderson Showtime. Do you think like they'll have a super fight and have him still hold the featherweight title? But is that so? Okay, so
I mean, he should vacate the belt.
do you think he should vacate it or
Yes.
like hold on
Yeah, I
to
think
it?
you should vacate it, but they should do like
If you decide to come back, you'll get the title shot right away.
So I have a four-man tournament between Mendez.
Yeah, because to be honest, I don't think he wants to be cutting that weight to 145 anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why they will vacate it. But I think if he felt comfortable cutting back and forth, that he would keep it. But I really don't. I really think he doesn't want to cut that weight no more.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
might as
It's
well.
like the whole John Bon Jones thing. When he makes his heavyweight, he doesn't want to cut weight all the way
Unless
back
he's
down to
getting
205.
rocked.
You know what I'm saying?
In the
Yeah.
heavyweight division.
So I mean, I think Aldo has pretty much
Yeah.
he literally ran through the.
Yeah, he did what he had to do at 145.
It's time to
you
get
can
back
make
to
It's time to
challenges.
step up to the big boys.
Yeah, you can make an argument for Ricardo Lamas, but nobody is. So
Yeah. Only Alex. Alex
Only
always
you.
brings up
I
Ricardo
mean,
You're
he's
the
Lamas.
only Ricardo Lamas fan. I think you're the only Ricardo
not a fan, but I mean, you got to go. But
When everybody forgets about Ricardo Lamas, Alex never
I'll bring
does.
him up.
Alex
He's
never
the
forgets.
number one seed in the featherweight tournament.
So that covers UFC 163.
That covers the whole show, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that covers the whole show. Just remember, we have the survey. We'll pick out a winner next week. The winner will get a book. We'll ask for your contact information. We'll mail that out to you. So the survey question was, would you pay for Tito Ortiz versus Rampage just knowing that fight?
No.
Well,
wait.
remember, we'll announce the winner at the end of the month because they have to keep doing. There's gonna be like two.
There's
or
a
three more
catch to this. You got to
surveys.
keep participating.
Yeah, keep participating because we're gonna have 2 or 3 more surveys and before we announce the winner.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure to keep up to date with our surveys and all the happenings. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at FiveRoundMMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. Make sure to check out our Facebook. Like us there. We're also on Instagram, so check out our photos, like our photos, and always be checking out FiveRoundMMA.com for daily headlines and news, weekly articles and commentaries, and also see our web show there. And I want to give a big thank you to Honey Badger Performance Energy Drinks. Go check out drinkhoney.badger.com. I want to thank the Madhouse clothing line. Go shop themadhouse.com and follow them on Twitter at the Madhouse MMA. And a big thank you to Top Rated MMA, 100% American-made MMA apparel. Shop topratedmma.com and follow them on Twitter at Top Rated MMA. Albert, some final words?
Just want to thank our executive producer Guillermo Cita, our sound engineer Steven Razzo, and Razzo Records. I would also thank our technician Big Game, and thank everybody for listening and participating.
And next week could be better, right? 1 week after Machita's loss.
Yeah, I'll recover. I mean, go ahead and send me your guys' sympathy cards and
Get
stuff
well
like
wishes.
that. And get well wishes. I appreciate it. So see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
The cream of the crop.